disability has been defined in the widest term. So therefore, the medical professionals, psychologists and psychiatrists are of the opinion that autism is also a medical condition which is akin to disability. It would fall within the definition of disability as defined under the Act. Indian courts have always been proactive in the sense to protect the rights of the differently abled. Courts cannot legislate. Courts cannot enact a rule. Court can test the validity of a statute, whether it satisfies the touchstone of reasonableness, it is free from arbitrariness, and it doesn't offend any of the constitutional provisions. It's difficult for a parent. It's the parents who require some counseling, immediate counseling. I think many organizations should come forward to first counsel the parents, do some hand-holding so that they take care of their wards in a better way.
In a better way. Hello everyone and welcome back to the India Autism Center podcast channel, your trusted space for real conversations, expert insights and practical guidance on autism, neurodevelopmental care and inclusive living. I'm your host Saudamini. Joining us today is Honorable Justice T.S. Sivanyanam, former Chief Justice of the Calcutta High Court. Known not only for his distinguished judicial career, but also for championing access, efficiency and reform within the justice system. Justice Sivanyanam brings a deeply human lens to the law, and we're honored to host him today. Thank you for making the time today, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you feeling?
Good. Thanks for this wonderful opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Before you start speaking, I'm just back from your center, which is being developed in the Diamond Harbour.
Yes.
I'm still yet to get out of the aura, the magnitude of the project. Hats off. Hats off.
So glad. So I'm going to get into the questions now. How do Indian courts play a role in protecting autism and disability rights?
Yes. Prior to 2016, we did not have a codified law. Now, everybody who's watching this channel or part of this Indian Autism Center or part of any other organization are aware of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act. In short, it is for popularly known as RPWD Act.
Yes, sir.
So in that, the definition of disability, in fact, it has become a taboo to use the word disability. You should call it differently abled. That is one school of thought. Of course, it has been implemented. Disability has been defined in the widest term, widest manner in which it can be thought of. So therefore, if the medical professionals, psychologists and psychiatrists are of the opinion that autism is also a medical condition which is akin to disability, it would fall within the definition of disability as defined under the Act. Indian courts have always been proactive in the sense to protect the rights of the differently abled. Some of you would have known that every constitutional court, that is the high courts, as well as the Honorable Supreme Court, have got inherent powers to exercise jurisdiction within their territorial limits. And the Honorable Supreme Court, pan-India, where there is breach of fundamental rights, where something is required to be done and it's not been done, or where something is required to be done in a particular manner and it's not been done in such manner, the courts can interfere. Of course, one school of thought says that this jurisdiction, called as the public interest litigation, is often abused than used. Let us not go into that controversy. So after the 2016 Act came into force, there were several amendments. Strict compliances were there. Let us take a small example. Providing ramps in public buildings and places where people have to have access to government offices, washrooms, public toilets, etc. For some reason or other, the concerned agency or the department which had to implement this, either for lack of funds or structurally it's not possible or unable to do, such causes were brought before the court. Right. So the court did not issue a directive in the sense it aided in the implementation of the enactment. So that's the role the court, because courts cannot legislate.
Right.
Courts cannot enact a rule. Court can test the validity of a statute, whether it satisfies the touchstone of reasonableness, it is free from arbitrariness, and it doesn't offend any of the constitutional provisions.
Right.
So therefore, court, when it can't legislate, I cannot say, build a bridge here, shift this office from here to there. So therefore, what the courts did was they started monitoring, in the sense sort of a hand-holding with the agencies, maybe a state, maybe a quasi-governmental organization. And this hand-holding took place and says, please do that by then, please do that by then. Similarly, there are other facilities which had to be implemented to facilitate people with who are differently able, especially the footboard of the buses,
Right.
the public transport, how it can be made user-friendly.
Yeah.
How the wheelchairs can be taken in. Now, most of you who have gone, who have traveled by flights, often see that the entire bus lowers down and the wheelchair is wheeled into it. Assuming a person doesn't have somebody to push the wheelchair, he or she has to operate it herself, a manual wheelchair, then that facility should be compliant with that requirement. This the court will monitor. So there are several such instances that even 2 days will not be sufficient to talk about this topic.
Right.
Yes, I do say that courts have, they have extended a very proactive approach to these matters. Several high courts, the Honorable Supreme Court, and on a day-to-day basis, things are moving. And of course, it is not a one-day solution.
Of course. Yeah.
Children are born every day.
Yeah.
Some are normal, some are with differently abled. So it is a continuous process. Probably time and technology will improve.
Definitely. Before we continue, here's a quick look at who we are at India Autism Center.
Imagine a space designed not just to care for individuals with autism, but to empower them. A place where knowledge grows, support flourishes, and possibilities expand. This is India Autism Center. It is built to redefine how we approach autism. Through education, research, and community-driven initiatives, we create an environment where individuals with autism can thrive. Samavesh, our residential campus, is designed for individuals with autism to live, learn, and grow with dignity and independence. It is more than just a place to stay. It is a space to belong. Manan, our training academy, prepares professionals to provide specialized care. Through structured programs, we equip individuals with the skills to support neurodivergent communities with confidence and compassion. Khoj, our research division, is dedicated to advancing our understanding of autism. Through data-driven studies and collaborative research, we work towards shaping the future of neurodiversity.
Okay, so can you share real examples where courts have stepped in to provide relief or justice to persons with disabilities, including autism?
So I will give you two examples. One on the administrative side and one on the judicial side. So far as the administrative side is concerned, civil judges, that is the court of first instance. The civil judges junior division is the court of first instance, and the young lawyers who at present are required to have 3 years of practice as a lawyer can apply for being selected. It is a very rigorous selection process. It's a 3-stage selection process. As you know, the rule of reservation is there in India in the constitution, which has to be implemented. When it comes to reservation for differently abled, the problem arose was, the earlier thought process was, a person with minimal defect in the vision, minimal defective hearing, locomotor disability, was unfit to be part of the judicial system. Probably he can be in the office, in the administration, but not as a judicial officer. When the matter was lying like that, there were several decisions of the Honorable Supreme Court saying that now the technology is improved. There are very many assisted devices by which a person who was hitherto said to be unsuitable, he will be suitable for any avocation. And this the judiciary should think. I had the good fortune of being in a committee assisted by the government officials who were in charge of this differently abled department, and also 100% vision impaired advocates. So we redid the entire rule and we said, like, if I can be a judge wearing this spectacle, if he is able to wear a spectacle and his vision improves, and at best he can be said as 30% visual impairment, why shut him out of the judiciary? Second, hearing loss. If there is an assisted device and acoustics are so, it can be done. Third, we suggested one more thing for dwarfs, people who have stunted growth. And that was, nobody thought of it. There are problems with the administration because if he or she gets selected, the manner in which the dais in the court, their chambers have to be designed, everything has to be done. So then acid attack victims, they were already completely excluded from society. And it took a lot of courage for such people to come out. So we said, yes, you make a reservation. Then locomotor disability. A person's both hands are good, his eyesight is good, his hearing is good, he can speak well, think well, multilinguistic, but he is paralyzed below the hips. Will it deter him from sitting for a court? No. So we revamped it and this reservation got implemented and people really benefited because some of them are still in office, so I can't say anything more, but this worked. This really worked.
Yes.
This is on the, this can be adopted in any department. Of course, there are a lot of other departments. Other example, as I said, is a live example. I think there will not be any conflict of interest, etc. It is a public interest litigation filed by a society called Muscular Dystrophy Society, West Bengal at Kolkata. Along with that, 5 other individual writ petitions also came. The cause which was brought before the court was the problems faced by the children suffering from rare disease. There are very many categories of rare diseases, one of which is muscular dystrophy. You cannot halt it, you can only manage it. The state was aware, and in fact, the SSKM hospital in Kolkata is a center of excellence, recognized by the central government. It's a center of excellence. They have the facility to handle such type of children. So the parents all joined and formed the society. The parents came to court, sir, they are all doing, sir, but still we want this. This was implemented in the other state. This is the international thought process. There is a paper presented in the UNICEF conference. Can we do that? Can we? So at that time I took it up. Close to about 2 years I was hearing the matter. We had a very nice set of lawyers, and the state government of West Bengal as well as the union government, central government, both cooperated well. Their top lawyers represented, both of them cooperated well. And apart from that, the senior doctors, directors from the SSKM hospital, the center of excellence, will leave their work and come for the court for attending the hearing on a day-to-day basis. And really, it worked, and things are a lot better. One issue which came up was the UDID card. There were certain glitches because the state government portal and the central government portal couldn't merge. If the state portal information is being shared, is not accepted when the child travels to another state.
Oh,
So therefore, the central government portal, because you can't expect the the parents of these children to be tech savvy.
right.
So what I suggested was you have a demo. One is a flowchart, multilinguistic Hindi Bengali flowchart. Another is a live demo. You put it on screen. It continuously, when the clinic is open,
Yeah.
the special clinic is open. Now it functions in the police hospital. It will keep on scrolling. How do you activate this UDID portal? So small issues. Then wheelchairs were not there. Government was ready to provide. But immediately in the open court hall, one advocate stood up and said, "Sir, I'll sponsor 5." The another one stood up and said, "I'll sponsor 10."
Wow.
So within no time, we had about 25 wheelchairs. Because these children are very fragile.
Yeah.
One more thing. Parents had 2 children. Elder one, rare disease, was able to get an admission in school, with subject to the condition that one parent has to stay with the child throughout the day. As a result of which, the parent cannot be employed.
Right. Yeah.
They had a second child, which also had the same rare disease. So the mother could not leave home. She couldn't go for work. Father had to resign his job. Then the organization was kind, and they said, "All right, whenever you can come." So he stayed with the child in the school. He goes to a regular school, bright boy.
Yeah.
When the younger sibling applied, the school said, "No, our regulations don't permit." There is a organization which runs the school, which is Pan India they are running. Then I said, something needs to be done. Like when my elder son was admitted to a school, I had my second son. So under sibling quota, he got an admission.
Yeah.
So normally it is done. Why this? But probably the issue regarding inclusion.
Yeah.
Whether it will be a problem to have 2 children like this. Then we had to pass series of orders, and with the good officers of very senior people here and a couple of advocates, we were able to secure an admission for us. The mother was in tears.
That's amazing.
For a person who's hearing this podcast, it may appear to be a school admission. See, imagine if the son had to go to another school. The mother has to stay in that school.
Yes.
So here the father can take care of both.
Hmm.
In between, he has got some other work which he can do with his computer or laptop. So that I thought was definitely a success story of a litigation which was brought before the court to protect the right of differently.
That's amazing, sir. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, coming to for the families of individuals with disabilities, what are some legal rights or benefits they often don't realize they can approach the courts for?
There are several NGOs like your organization is at a multiple, much higher level. There are small NGOs. Wherever these hospitals which take care of the children who are differently abled, they volunteer themselves in those organizations. Those organizations volunteer, discuss with the parents and say that you are entitled to this particular card. You are entitled to this particular central government scheme. You are entitled to this particular state government scheme. For obtaining the benefit of this scheme, you need to do such compliances. They are willing to come forward to help. Apart from that, there is one organization called the State Legal Services Authority. Every state has got a State Legal Services Authority, which has been constituted under the provisions of the National Legal Services Authority Act. In Kolkata, we have got it in the City Civil Court building, which is called the West Bengal State Legal Services Authority. In that, we have got psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors, etc., paralegal volunteers who are trained to assist people even for filling up a small form, like for applying a ration card. I lost my original certificate. How do I obtain a duplicate certificate? How do I do that? Some are go to the extent of booking train tickets. So these paralegal volunteers who are young men and women, they come and work this is on the state level. In the district level, the same is replicated, called the District Legal Services Authority and the Subdivisional Legal Services Authority. In fact, they go on a door-to-door campaign, even assuming like vaccines to be administered to children, polio vaccine.
Right.
Some communities say, no, the child will get affected. So these people walk along with the health visitors to educate the parents that it's in the best interest of the child, you should do it.
Yes.
So this is one system. Assuming both fail, or the concerned parent is not satisfied with the result,
Right.
the court is always there. So you come with your individual action. If it is going to be a writ petition which is filed under the provisions of the Constitution of India, it can be against a state or any organization which falls within the definition of Article 12 of the Constitution of India, which defines state. But if it is a civil right, you will have to go before the civil court. So therefore, there are multiple avenues, multiple layers. Only thing is we propagate. In fact, if you go, we have published a small booklet containing the list of all the schemes, state and center, for what purposes, including there are schemes for senior citizens to buy spectacles.
Right. Oh,
For
that's
spectacles,
so
there is.
interesting.
So therefore, there are so many schemes which are unknown. So it's the duty of the Legal Service Authority to propagate. Ultimately, if suppose you don't get the desired result, court is always there. You come with a genuine matter, with the proper understanding of the legal provisions, it will come through.
That's so good to know. If you're watching this and learning something new, don't forget to hit the like button. So, what steps can the judicial system take to become more inclusive for people with disabilities?
Judicial system cannot always take so moto action. The monstrosity of the situation, that's how they call, no? Monstrosity of the situation appeals to the court that something has to be done in the matter. There can be no loss of time. Therefore, the court takes it up. But it is done in rarest of rare cases. It is not done at the drop of the hat. Therefore, what is the option? There are options, as I said earlier. A person can come to court projecting the interest of the public at large, like people who are differently abled form a homogeneous group. There are subgroups. What are the different types of disabilities? He may come to represent the grievances of, I will not put it as rights, I will say grievances, of one subsect or one subclass of a major classification. Then the court will do it. As I said, courts cannot legislate. It can't frame laws. So therefore, if there is a failure on the part of the state machinery in implementing the provisions of the Act, which confers certain rights and benefits to persons to differently abled person, then the court will step in. Then the court will analyze as to why it could not be done or why was it not done. There may be genuine roadblocks which the court will be able to guide the concerned agency to do better. So this will be the role of the court. It can't it can't step into the road and say, yes, you divert the traffic here.
Of course.
It can't be done.
Yeah.
So when a cause is brought before the court, then the court will consider whether the larger interests of public are affected or it is person-centric. If it is person-centric, it will consider his case or her case, give relief or deny relief if it is not feasible.
Right.
If it comes for a common cause, then the court will take it up in a larger perspective, regardless of the fact who brought the matter to the notice of the court. That's the underlying principle or the bottom line.
Right.
Assuming a person comes to court and the court finds that it is not a genuine attempt,
Yeah.
but his genuinity or bona fide is in doubt, but the court feels that the cause is genuine, the court can discharge the person who came to court,
And look into the matter.
look into the matter itself
Right.
by registering it as a suo motu matter, or substitute somebody in his place, an NGO or somebody,
Right.
to take
to
forward.
take it forward. Yeah. So the same way, if inclusion fails in any institution or workplace or any public space, similarly the
Similarly, it
court
can
will
be done.
intervene then. Okay. If you had to give one piece of advice to families navigating disability rights in India today, what would it be?
It's difficult for a parent, because I have seen them in court when the hearing takes place. They are all employed. They are so eager to come and watch the proceedings. They are perpetually in a melancholic mood. So how do you, so that is why when I was talking to your CEO, Mr. Jaishankar, I said, it's the parents who require some counseling, immediate counseling. And I think your new center, which is coming up near Ramtala, it's really going to be make a sea of change. Not only the persons who are within the spectrum, but for the parents, their caretakers as well. So there are certain NGOs which have realized this, and they have trained those parents. Like when the child goes for a DEXA scan. What is DEXA scan? Is to test the bone density. Because when these children with rare disease, they often suffer fractures. So it will take about 25-30 minutes.
Right.
And there is one counselor who talks to the mother. What is your routine today? What did you make for breakfast? What does your son or daughter like to eat for lunch?
Yeah.
And how do you spend your time? Then slowly she inculcates. So the next Tuesday or next Saturday when she comes, she looks for that counselor. Then she says, you join a yoga class. I will tell you near your house, there is some place will be there. Free of cost, that place will be.
Right.
So that is, my thing is, you make the caregiver, the parent strong, automatically the love and affection, of course they have got too much of love and affection. And I always used to say that when your creator says that you are deficient in this, he balances it elsewhere. So those skills are what do you say, much higher than people like us.
Right.
So therefore, this balance the parents will be able to realize. So I think many organizations should come forward to first counsel the parents, do some hand holding so that they take care of their wards in a better way.
In a better way. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insights with us today. For our listeners, if today's conversation resonated with you and deepened your understanding of disability rights and inclusion, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the India Autism Center podcast. Until next time, check out the video popping up on your screen.